All right, you have arrived to 7.5 notes over dependent events. And that's when the outcome of one event impacts the outcome of another. It's when there is not replacement. So let's look at some examples of events and decide if they're independent or dependent. Flipping two coins, resulting in one landing on heads and the other on tails. Well, you know what? Those two coins, they flip separate from each other. They don't affect the other one. Now, we're not going to talk about when they run into each other or knock in the air. That's not what we're talking about. One coin's flipped, the other one's separate, and it flips. The captain of the football team is selected, and then the co-captain. Well, think about it. If I have 5 people that are being selected for captain or co-captain, and this dude right here gets picked out of the bunch, there's now only 3 possible outcomes. So that's definitely dependent, because picking that captain, they're no longer available to be the co-captain. So it definitely affects the outcome. You draw a joker from a deck of cards, and then you draw an ace. Well, when you drew the joker out from the deck, there were 42. After the joker came out, there's now 51 possible cards. So it's definitely dependent. You draw a queen from a deck and replace it. 52 cards before you drew the queen. Oh, you put it back. There's still 52 possible outcomes. Independent. A coin is flipped and a number cube is rolled. Separate. Independent. One does not affect the other. We're not going to mingle them. So, like we saw in independent, which is what we've been doing thus far, when you have replacement or they're separate objects, you find the probability of A and you multiply it times the probability of B. They have the same number of total outcomes present as they did before you did A. But when it's dependent, you're going to find that probability of the first event, and then you're going to multiply it times the probability of the second event after the first event. That means your overall possible outcomes has now decreased. It has decreased. Okay, gone down, one less. So let's look at some of these. These are some similar ones we looked at before when we had replacement. So this is going to be different because now it's dependent. Neil goes to the pet shop, selects a treat for his dog. How many are possible? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 possible items. Well, he chooses one and then he chooses the other. Okay, he took one out, it was gone. Now there's a different outcome possibility because there's one less toy. So what's the probability he selects a bone and then a ball? Okay, let me see. There are 3 bones. So I have 3 7s. But guess what? I have now taken out a bone. There's now only 6 items available. So now a ball? Well, there's only 1 ball. 3 7ths times, oh wait, there's 2 balls, aren't there? Sorry, my bad. 3 7ths times 2 6ths is 6 over 42, and that is 1 7th. I will have classroom calculators available for those of you that are stressed out about this math. Or you can use, when you're on your computer, you can use the one on your computer. Okay, Mackenzie chooses 1 candle and then another. No replacement. What's the probability Mackenzie selects a polka dot candle both times? Well, let's see. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 candles to start with. How many are polka dot? 2. So 2 out of 5 are polka dot. Oh, this one's no longer available. I took it out. There's now only 4 possible outcomes. And what about a polka dot now? Well, there's only 1 possible. That's 2 20ths or 1 10th. Let's look at the clothing examples that kind of maybe are more relevant. I don't know. There's a lot going on here with this one. All right, how many? So some of these are going to be dependent and some are independent. So we're going to be looking at both of those things, deciding independent or dependent. Mrs. Moore's doing laundry, has various pieces of clothing in her laundry basket. I want to say something. This is before dividing it out and separating socks and pairing them off. So let's see. How many items do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and 16. All together to start, there's 16. She selects a top and then a bottom. What's that probability? Well, to start with, there's 16 items. And how many of those are shirts? There's a shirt. Just one shirt. So 1 out of 16, but guess what? One less item now. So I had 16, I took one out, now there's only 15. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and erase the 16 so that we can go ahead and continue on. Now there's a population of 15 possible outcomes. The sample space is smaller. What about picking a bottom out of that group? Well, let's see. How many bottoms? There's the pants, there's a skirt, there's a pant, there's a skirt, there's a pant. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 possibilities. Okay, that's 5 over 240, which is 1 over 48. Were those dependent or independent? Well, they're dependent because remember our population went down. The possible outcomes decreased by 1 after the first item was pulled out. What's the probability of selecting a striped sock, replacing it, and then selecting another? Okay, we have a total of 16. How many are striped socks? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Oh, look at me, I'm counting stripes. That is so funny. Let's get something clear first of all. This is ribbing. These are stripes. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 striped socks. I replaced them. So I still have the same number of items. There's still 16. I put them back. So what about getting another? Yeah, it's 5/16 squared, which is 25 over 256. And that is an independent outcome. I mean, yeah, well, an independent probability. So let's put into perspective for a minute what this means. I want to go back to when we talked about how likely. What is this close to 1/2 or 1/4? Well, half of 250 would be 125. So half would equal 125 out of 250. This is nowhere near a half, is it? So this is very unlikely because that 25 is a very small part of that whole. Okay, I just wanted to bring that back up because there is some relevance to that. What's the probability of selecting a towel? Replacing it. That's your cue that it's independent, my friends. And then selecting another towel. Well, the fact that there's only one towel in the whole batch makes this an easy one. 1/16 and then 1/16 again. And it's 1/256. Very unlikely. Very unlikely. All right, let's look at number 11. What's the probability of selecting a skirt and a top? One choice after another. In other words, no replacement. Dependent. No replacement. So, skirt. How many skirts? 2 skirts. And there's 16 items, but now I took a skirt out, right? So now there's only 15 items and a top. Let me see, how many tops? 1. So I have 2 out of 240, which simplifies to 1 over 120. Oh, very unlikely. What's the probability of selecting a matching pair of solid socks, one choice after another? Now, we are making an assumption here. We are assuming that all of these solid colored socks are the same color and match, okay? So we have a total of 16 items, and there's 4 socks, which is equal to 1/4. I'm going to multiply 1/4 times, well, now I only have 15. I took 1 sock out, and I still have, no, wait, I took 1 out. One of these is gone. So now I only have 3. Okay, so let's see here. That is 3/60ths, which is equal to 1/20ths, and it's definitely dependent because I took 1 out and then took another out. So which one of these is most likely to happen? Let's look at that for a second. Which one is most likely to happen? I'm going to go ahead and let's see. 1/48. Oof. Let's see here. Well, which fraction is the largest? I think it's this last one. Who would have thought picking out a matching pair of solid socks was most likely to happen? Go figure. Go ahead and ask if you have any questions. Otherwise, move on to the practice assignment.